Dear Mr. Ishida. Or is it Ishida-san? Or Ishida-sensei? I don't know. If I had an image of you, it would fade in right here, in this place of this film. However, I couldn't find a picture of you, so this film remains black for now. I couldn't find very much about you in general. I know that your name is Tamezo Ishida, that you probably made about 83 films, that you were born in 1901 and died in 1972. Your career spanned from 1926 to 1947. Konichikawa was your apprentice. His films are known. His Wikipedia article has a picture. Your films still wait to be seen by most people. Your page is empty. Why do I write you, Mr. Ishida? Well, that's a good question. For one, you can't really respond to this letter that I'm trying to send not just through space all the way to Japan, but even through time, way into the past. My hopes for its arrival are admittedly small. I must, however, still write you and attempt this task. Why? Well, you see, 3 years ago, a film of yours made an immense impression on me. It wasn't my first encounter with Japan or Japanese cinema, by no means. It is true that I haven't yet been to Japan. I was going to go this spring, but then all of this crisis happened. So it might still take some time. But even though I haven't been there in person, I have seen Japan in various ways. And I have seen it through the cameras of many filmmakers over many decades. Yet there was something special about this one particular trip to Japan that I took through the screen. It was summer 2017. I was in Bologna, in Italy. They have a festival there each year. They show restored prints of older films. I had forgotten when exactly I had seen your film, but after looking through some old programs and messages, I have concluded that it must have been the 27th of June, at 2:30 p.m. to be precise. I entered into the Cinema Jolly, the entrance to which is in a small side alley. I sat inside. The lights went out. The projector started rattling. The first images I saw were an aquarium. The opening credits started. The print was washed out and beat up. The sound was too quiet. In the film we see the indoors of an okya. We see only geishas. We see community, heartbreak, the back of a head with a complicated hairdo. A woman playing the shamisen. We hear the geisha's customers every now and then, but we never see a single man. We don't see the cannons roaring outside as the Meiji Restoration begins. We only hear them. We don't see a single shot ever repeated. These are the rules of the game. In the end, 2 women remain in the house. The others have all fled. War is right at their doorstep. They wait. After the film ended, I sat in the cinema for some minutes. I missed the next film. I had to take a walk, process all of this. I arrived home. I tried to find some information online. Then, to my surprise, I found barely any articles, barely any images. The film mostly exists as a ghost, sometimes mentioned in a paragraph in the history of Japanese films. In the last 3 years, not much has changed about that. The film is barely available to see. There's not much written about it. These images are the only way I can still try to see the film. Sketches, reconstructions from my memory of the film. Not exact images, but impressions. And as I look at them, I can see that my memory is slowly fading, just as the world's memory of this film is slowly disappearing too. I remember a certain scene. We hear the cries of a man outside. He wants to be let indoors. The geishas stand at the door, but nobody wants to open it. He perishes outside. Singular moments like this one still come back to me every now and then. Flashes of my memory which cannot be refreshed or replenished. The only things still available to me are my sketches, most of which I cannot assign to a specific moment or scene. And yet, even though your film is almost impossible to see, every now and then I see its name pop up. This year, for example, the British Film Institute made a list of the best Japanese film each year. For the year 1938, your film was chosen, Mr. Ishida, Hana Chirinu. In the article it says that the film's current obscurity is simply bewildering. So you see, Mr. Ishida, this is why I write you. I write you because nobody else will. Because you are a footnote of film history. I write because I hope that if this letter doesn't reach you, it reaches someone else. Like a message in a bottle. And that way you exist. If so many other films are visible, and we live in a world that is being flooded by images, why should the memory of such precious images as yours be lost?